Welcome to this session of mindfulness, awareness, and compassion practice. What we'll be doing today is going through a series of practices. First, getting settled and centered and grounded. Then, a practice of presence of body in the space that we're sitting in, working with our posture, our breathing, and awareness. So our eyes will be open, but looking downward at the space we're sitting in. Then we move to environmental awareness, where we'll raise our gaze and see the bigger space around us and work with other thoughts, perceptions, emotions. And then at the end, we'll do some compassion practice, because we're not separate beings from everybody else. And there's certainly a need for compassion and kindness in the world today. So, to begin with, you can let your eyes gently close. And, oh, by the way, when we open our eyes, you're not going to want to be looking right at your screen. So you can either adjust your seat or adjust your device so that you're not looking directly into the screen. Okay. So, to begin with, let your eyes gently close. And whether you're sitting on a chair or on a cushion on the floor, feel your sit bones. Now, we're doing this in sitting posture because if we're lying down, we tend to fall asleep. If we're standing up, we tend to get antsy and want to move. So this is kind of putting ourselves in neutral. Now, ideally, you want to sit up and not be leaning back against anything, but if you have a physical condition where you do need to lean back, just sit up as much as you can so that you're as straight and upright as you can be. Feel your sit bones pressing into the cushion. Kind of even them out. You can move a little bit from side to side and find that place where your weight is even out, and let them really feel them pushing into the cushion that you're sitting on, whether it's on the floor or on your chair. Now for your legs, if you're sitting on the floor, you're probably cross-legged already. In a chair, let your legs, your feet be flat on the floor, about hip width apart. With your lower legs, your shins vertical, perpendicular to the floor, and your knees and your feet both about hip width apart. Now, if you have a low chair or long legs and your knees are higher than your hips, that puts a little strain on your lower back. So just cross your feet at the ankles and let your knees widen out, and that'll take some of the pressure off your lower back. Knees a little bit lower than your hips. For your torso, you want to feel like your back is upright but not rigid, and feel that it extends not just up your back, up your spine, but continues up the back of your neck and the back of your head to the back of the top of your head, so that there's a feeling of a straight line from the back of the top of your head right down to your tailbone. When you feel that straight line of the back of the top of your head, so your head is not tilted down, your chin's not tilted up, and your chin's not pushing forward, what'll happen is your chin will draw in just a little bit naturally. And in that posture, the flow of the air in your nostrils, down through your throat into your lungs, is unimpeded. We're going to be breathing in through our nose and mainly out through our nose, but if some comes out through your mouth, that's okay as well. And back to our torso. It's helpful, if you're comfortable to do this, to take the little spot in the center of your sternum, the center of your breastbone, and push that slightly up and forward, just the tiniest bit, 1 centimeter, quarter of an inch. You'll feel that it opens your chest. You may feel a tiny pinch behind you in your shoulder blades, and your shoulders come in line with your spine. Let your shoulders hang naturally, and let your upper arms hang down from your shoulders so they're vertical, perpendicular to the floor, so you're not reaching forward or pulling back. And you bend at the elbows and let your hands swivel up, palm down on top of each thigh, so that your forearms run along your thighs, but your upper arms still remain just hanging straight down vertical from your shoulders. You want your jaw to be relaxed, but you don't want your mouth hanging all the way open, so let your lips be just very slightly parted or lightly touching, whichever is more comfortable. And your tongue can just rest naturally in your mouth. Or if you'd like to try this, you can let it float up and let the tip of your tongue rest lightly against your upper palate just behind your front teeth. It's said that that reduces the flow of saliva. But you don't have to worry about it. If you have some saliva and you need to swallow, just swallow. But be aware that you're doing that. You're choosing to do that. If you have any sharp pain, move immediately. But if you have some discomfort or an itch or something like that, and it's really preoccupying your mind, it's fine to move. Just, again, be aware that you're going to make the intention to do it. Move mindfully and return to your posture. Now, in all the practices that we do, there's a tendency for thoughts to come up and capture your mind and take you away. When that happens, you're in a daydream, and you're not aware of your body, your breathing, the space you're in, nothing, but the thoughts. At some point they'll pop, otherwise you'd go into a daydream and never come back. So when it pops, at that moment, go, and you're already back. You can feel good. Your mind always wants to bring you back to the present moment. And at that point, just acknowledge, I was away, now I'm back, without blame, and return to whatever the technique is that we've been doing. So that's the basic instruction. Right now, we're connecting with our posture and feeling our body. So let's check to see if there's any unnecessary tension, residual tension, by scanning from the top of your head, scalp, forehead, face, eyes, ears, again your jaw. If you notice any tension, just let it melt and flow down and out of you. Your neck and shoulders. You might feel like your shoulders are relaxed, but notice if there's a little extra tension, just let them really hang. Let the tension melt and flow down and out of you. Chest, just the tension you need to hold that your breastbone up a tiny bit. Everything else around that, your upper arms, your chest, your upper back. Breathe out and let the tension melt. The in-breath energizes, the out-breath relaxes. Rib cage all around, solar plexus. Breathe out, let the tension melt. Lower back, deep belly, pelvic region. Sometimes we're clenching and we don't realize it. Without losing your posture, just let go of the tension. Breathe out, let it melt. Hips, thighs, forearms and hands. Breathe out, let the tension melt out. Knees, calves, ankles and feet. Breathe out. Really feel like you're inhabiting your body. That your awareness pervades your body all the way through. Not just in your head thinking about your body, but really feeling your legs, your hips, your torso, your arms, neck, head. And breathe out again and let your awareness drop deep into your core. We're three-dimensional beings. We have front and back, not just side to side like we see in a mirror. Feel the depth of how your body expands front to back and side to side as you breathe in. How it contracts as you breathe out, especially in the deep belly in your core. That central point of our life and awareness is a couple of inches below our navel, just in front of our spine. Feel your core expand around that point as you breathe in, contract as you breathe out. Now let yourself be an observer of that feeling. Let go of control of your breathing. I promise your body will keep breathing by itself. Just relax into the rhythm. That feeling of expanding, contracting, filling and empty. It doesn't matter if it's a long breath or a short breath, deep or shallow. Just feel the rhythm. Like a quiet day at the shore, with the water gently coming up the sand and then back down into the ocean. Coming up as you breathe in, back down as you breathe out. Just relax and enjoy that rhythm for a couple of minutes. If your mind wandered, just smile and recognize that and return your awareness to your deep core. And now with each out-breath, feel like your weight is sinking more deeply into the seat that you're on. Breathe out, sink down. Breathe out, sink down. Breathe out and sink down and feel like you're actually part of the earth. That's as grounded as you can be. Put your posture upright, like a majestic mountain. And now gently let your eyes open about halfway so that you're looking down under your eyelids. It'll just be a couple of feet in front of you, no more than a meter. And relax your gaze so that you're not focused on a particular object. You're looking in that direction, but you're more looking at the space that your body is sitting in. You can see your lap and your hands. The floor just in front of you. To the sides, maybe a table. And be aware of that feeling internally of filling and expanding in your deep core as the breath comes in and contracting as it goes out. So your awareness is of your posture, the space that you're sitting in, and that internal sensation of filling and emptying. We'll do that for a couple more minutes. If your mind wandered off into a daydream, welcome back. Just reinvigorate your posture. Keep your eyes open halfway. Just observe the feeling of filling and emptying. Be more an observer than a controller. Don't breathe in any particular way. Just notice how your body's breathing. And if you find that you do have an intention about how to breathe, just notice that. You can't make a mistake. If you got sleepy, again, reinvigorate your posture and open your eyes normally. Look out a little further. If you feel like your mind was continuously busy, pay more attention to the details and the whole process of filling and emptying. The feeling of starting to fill, filling and full down in your deep core, your torso, your deep belly. Starting to empty, emptying and empty. Let your mind just rest in that rhythm without responsibility to do anything about it. And as the gong fades, take a refreshing moment, move around a little bit so that you don't get stiff and stale. And you may have noticed while you were working with the internal sensation, thoughts may have come up and gone by without taking you away. You might have heard sounds around you. These can just come and go, and they're the background, whereas what you're paying attention to is the foreground. Our awareness can only pay attention to, in the foreground, one sense perception at a time. And we move from perception to perception. And thoughts are considered the sixth sense perception because you perceive your thoughts. They're generated internally, but so are bodily sensations generated internally. Sounds and sights and smells come from outside. Tastes are kind of a combination. So now, reconnect with your posture. You can go through whatever steps you need to reestablish that posture. Move so that your screen is not in your direct line of vision. And let your eyes open naturally. And look out in the direction that they naturally rest, which is usually slightly below horizon. I'm not usually looking up and out, but just slightly below horizon. That's the natural gaze. And soften it to open up your peripheral vision. Soften your eye muscles, open up and see the big field of vision, side to side, top to bottom. Aware of the space in front and all around you. Now, we have a relationship with this environment. We're breathing the atmosphere in from this environment. Our breath goes out and mixes and becomes part of the environment. We're not aware of it, but our skin is actually breathing. We're not so separate from our environment. Sounds, smells come in. When we eat, tastes come in. So let's work with the space around us by connecting with our out-breath. You'll still be aware of the breath coming in, but tune into the breath going out. And tune into the rhythm of out, open, and rest in spaciousness. It's as if your awareness is riding out on the breath, and the breath naturally diffuses and dissolves and becomes one with the atmosphere. Let your awareness go from focus to openness. We've been focused on our internal sensation. Now we're going from focus, and as the breath goes out, openness. And that openness includes all the sense perceptions, awareness of your body, breathing in, awareness of thoughts that might come up in your mind, sounds, visual perceptions. And I'll take you through the sense perceptions. Breathe out, open up. And after you've gone out with a few out breaths, At a certain point, it may feel natural just to rest in that openness and not need to come back and start again on the next out breath. When that happens, just rest in that open space. Within that space, your vision includes colors, shapes, and shades of light and dark. Open your awareness to colors, shapes, and shades of light and dark. Notice if one of those shapes and colors came to your mind as a thing that you labeled. Door, bookcase. Just notice how quickly we make things out of these colors, shapes, and shades of light and dark and have a mental label for them. Now turn your attention to sounds. Near and far, loud and soft, high and low pitched. Breathe out and open your awareness to sounds as far as you can hear. And notice if you put a mental label on what that sound, what was producing that sound. And notice if you added a feeling of like or dislike along with that mental label. And then notice if a little story arose out of that feeling about your relationship with whatever made that sound. Just notice. If there are smells in the room, do the same with the smells. We won't focus on taste, but you can do that sometime when you're eating. Now turn to bodily sensations. What are you noticing in your body? Cloth of your clothes on your skin, the air on your hands or face. You might even notice your heartbeat. And notice your mental reactions. And now turn your attention to watch for thoughts appearing in your mind. Your brain is generating thoughts. Your mind is where your consciousness becomes aware of them. They appear like bubbles, don't last very long, and then another appears. Notice if there's an inclination to pursue any of them. To follow and add more thoughts on. How that feels different than just letting them come and go. Notice if they produce feelings, physical sensations that go along with the thoughts. Now let go. Lower your gaze and reconnect with presence of body, posture, and breathing. If we get caught up in thoughts, perceptions, and the feelings that go with them, the mental reactions, we can always take a time out and take 3 settling breaths. Now take a moment to refresh your posture. Move a little bit so you're not stiff or stale. In this last section, you can do with your eyes open or closed because it's a contemplation. We're going to work with our breathing a little bit, but it's mainly a contemplation. And some people have found it helpful, because we were talking about kindness and compassion, to put their hand over their heart center. It's the center of your chest, kind of that same point that we were raising up at heart level. You can do that if you feel like it or not. And just imagine, if your eyes are open, you can look out, but imagine the sky above and around in all directions. And know that all the living beings on this planet are under that same sky. Different places, but the same sky. And all are moving within the same atmosphere. Air or water for those beings, in different places, but it's all the same atmosphere, the atmosphere of the earth. We're all on the same ground, the same earth. The beings that live in the water, the oceans are still, and lakes are still on the earth, below. So we're all in this together. And we all share a basic feeling, the basic feeling of survival, but beyond that, wanting well-being, peace, health, and happiness in body and mind. Feel that for yourself. I want peace, health, and happiness in my body and mind. Everyone else does too. We're all equal in that way. We all want to be free of suffering in our body and mind, physical and mental, illness, pain, anxiety, fear. Feel how much we don't want that. I don't want to feel illness, pain, anxiety, fear. We'd like to have more well-being. We'd like to get rid of the suffering. So would everyone else. So traditionally this is done starting with a loved one, that you have the wish that they are filled with well-being. That's kindness. You have the wish that they are free from suffering. That's compassion. You can do this with one loved one, with a group of people, and then expand it to everyone you know, including people you don't get along with. Notice that might be a little more difficult. And then all beings in the world. So imagine that you alternate. As you're breathing in, you have this wish that all beings, including yourself, could be free from suffering. And you send out from your heart of compassion as you breathe out, fill them all with myself and all with well-being, kindness, peace, health, and happiness. We'll work with that for a couple of minutes. And now we go a little bit deeper. Do this as expansively as you can, include as many beings as you can. The causes of happiness are love, kindness, understanding, wisdom, tolerance, generosity. The causes of all the suffering are the poisonous qualities of greed, envy, hatred, intolerance. And most of all, ignorance. So imagine as you breathe in that you could draw those poisonous qualities, like drawing poison from a snake bite, out of all beings. Free them of these poisonous qualities. And as you breathe out, fill them with tolerance, openness, understanding, kindness, compassion, love, and most of all, wisdom. A world of caring, kindness, and wisdom instead of fear, hatred, and ignorance. And now let go of the contemplation. And take a few breaths, lower your gaze. Take a few breaths, and again, presence, body, posture, breathing, space you're sitting in. Simply being. And now to conclude the session, we want to take what we just did and extend it out to our everyday lives. So the intention is, I want to be as mindful as I can, mindful and aware throughout the rest of the day and the rest of the week, ideally the rest of our lives. I want to have kindness and compassion. And so along those lines, for that aspiration, we dedicate what we did to be more available, more responsive, to make the world a better place. So you can repeat after me or put in your own words. May the practice I have just done be a benefit to others as well as myself. And if you want to increase your generosity, be of even more benefit to others than to myself. So thank you for your kind attention for this session of mindfulness, awareness, and compassion practice.